Okay. For me to talk about this movie, I need to spoil some things. And yeah, so before just letting you guys warn you right out the gate, if you have not seen the movie, either pause this or back out or something, because in order for me to review this movie, I need to spoil some things, and yeah. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds now. Okay, so I'm guessing if you're still here, you want to, you've either seen the movie or you want to be spoiled or something. Now, I initially did a review, but I decided not to post it because it just made me sound like a ranting fanboy. And I really did not like how I sounded in that. Now, granted, I will admit right now, this movie made me feel... it did not, I did not like this movie. There were some things that I liked, don't get me wrong, but on a whole, this is a letdown for me. So, in order to talk about this, let's go into the things I liked. Ben Affleck is Batman. He's great. There's one thing in this element of Batman that they kind of overlook, but I'll get to that in the spoiler, into a little more heavier later in the review. Gal Gadot, or Godot, whatever, as Wonder Woman, great. I look forward for her movie. Henry Cavill as Superman, great. The characters themselves are great. The story itself is complete and utter trash. Now, this movie suffers in the same way Amazing Spider-Man 2 suffers. And by that, I mean it tries to do way too much in way too little time. Now, granted, this could easily be fixed in the, the DVD, the R-rated DVD cut we're going to be getting, later on down the road. But as it stands in the theater, in the box office, I was thinking to myself, this is what I waited 3 years for? This is what I defended for 3 years from all the casting, all the trailers? This is what I was looking forward to? This is the most hyped movie? What is this? Anyway. So, the thing about this movie is, obviously the major factor in what hurts this movie is that it's trying to be too many things in too little time. Is it trying to be a Justice League prequel? Is it trying to be a Superman movie? Is it trying to be a Batman movie? It literally does not know what to be. You know what it also tries to be? Dark Knight Returns without being Dark Knight Returns. Because there are some moments in here, and here's a good example. Because there is no other reason for this other than Zack Snyder wanted this scene in the movie. Superman and Doomsday are fighting. Obviously, you guys know Doomsday's in the film from the trailer, even if you haven't seen the film. Superman and Doomsday are fighting, and Superman takes Doomsday out into space to keep fighting him out there. The U.S. government's watching this, and they think, normally they would be like, okay, what are our options? I know, let's nuke it, because that's our first and only option. And I thought to myself, really? We're going to go, that's our first option right out the gate? I mean, I know they know, yes, I know, they know that Superman and Doomsday are obviously powerful, but there's more options to just nuking the damn things. And, for those who want to know some science, you shoot a nuclear missile off and it goes off in our atmosphere, the amount of damage it does to to our atmosphere would be catastrophic. Especially our nukes today. If one went off prematurely, went off in the sky, all sorts of shit gonna happen. But no, the only reason they have the nuclear launch hit Superman and Doomsday, it is the sole ground for Zack Snyder to have that scene of Superman all looking decrepit and like a skeleton out in space, then absorbing the sun's radiation back to full, getting back to full health. There is no other reason for that other than that scene, and that is the sole purpose it is in there. And there's also other scenes like when Scoot McNairy's character, he's pretty much the KG Beast. when they said his name, I was like, oh, he's KG Beast, okay. He doesn't have the missing hand or whatever, he's just a mercenary. But he does become, he's got Martha Kent with a, flamethrower to her head, and he's like, I'll do it, I'll kill her, believe me. He's like, I'll believe you. And then he's talking to Alfred in another time where he's like, we've always been criminals. And those lines feel so forced. Even when he's fighting Superman, he's like, you're feeling it now, aren't you? What all of us feel every day. Yeah. There are some moments in here that are also just, that make no sense, and I hope maybe the editing in the director's cut, maybe they'll make a little more sense, like, Lex Luthor knows who Superman is. I mean, it's not hard if you have a brain and can see without the glasses, but still, I'm like, yeah. And also, let's talk about Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Now, I defended Eisenberg's Luthor thinking that, oh, this is a cool way to put him, because, if you've seen The Social Network, he kind of plays a kind of, this kind of Lex Luthor type character. You see the movie and you're like, were you trying to be Gene Hackman mixed with Heath Ledger's Joker? Because that's all I can see. And the whole reason he pits Superman against Batman and, summoning Doomsday is, get this, not because he fears Superman, but because you're a god and I don't believe in gods because my daddy beat me into believing there's no god. No, that's it. There is, the main reason of why, it's not just he's afraid of Superman, of all these godlike powers, and he just takes it to another level. The real reason why Lex Luthor vehemently hates Superman is because he represents mankind just stopping and depending everything on an alien. Why do this when we have Superman who can do it? Why do this when we have metahumans? That's what the core of why Lex Luthor hates and fears Superman. Not because of daddy issues. Oh, he has daddy issues, but he buries it and just focuses solely on... Yeah, he focuses solely on his hatred for Superman in those other reasons I mentioned. Speaking of which, there's a lot of killing in here. No one gives a fuck about that. There's a moment in here where... And the major thing of why Superman has to go to this hearing, not because of what happens in Metropolis, oh no, that's hardly mentioned, except for a few things here and there, but the main reason why Superman is brought to this hearing is because there was a attack in Africa. There was this African warlord, and he captured Lois, and this mercenary team he thought was working for him turned on him and killed everyone there, and rather than do a thorough investigation and show that bullets killed these people, yeah. Also, Superman's no angel in here either, because he comes down to rescue Lois, right? He comes down to rescue Lois, and the warlord's got the gun to her head. He's like, I'll kill her. I'll do it. And Superman gives this look to Lois like, yeah, you're going to be safe. Now, normally, he'd do the Superman thing where he would just, use his heat vision to heat up the gun to make the guy drop it, right? That's the logical option for Superman to do this. Or use his super speed to fly over and grab the gun out of his hand and crush it. That's another logical option. Or hell, just be Superman and talk the guy into submission. Superman's really great, he's a fucking wordsmith. So, what does he do? He does the Zack Snyder thing and fly forward, smash the guy, tackle him and smash him through several walls, killing him multiple times over. And then the rest of the time is like, oh, Superman has a halo over his head, he wouldn't do such a thing. And I'm like, bitch, you saw him kill that guy. I mean, I know he was a, evil dude, but still, Superman could have been the bigger man and given the guy to, I don't know, Interpol or something? I don't know. Anyway. So, there's a lot of dumb things in this movie, like when the senator who calls the hearing, and she just, she has this argument with Luthor, and yeah, she even figures out, oh, this is a trap that I'm going into that's going to kill everyone but Superman, rather than be like, oh, I'm sorry, Superman, please save us. She was like, oh, I'm going to keep going with this speech other than, aside from, oh, I already know that I'm going to die, rather than ask Superman, hey, I can find this. Also, another thing, Superman, you weren't listening? You can hear everything! You weren't listening for a bomb, or you couldn't see it because you weren't looking for it. You literally look through at you have like 10 visions. You could have been like a casual glance over and been like, oh, that guy has a bomb. Yeah. Also another, and this was a really dumb moment for me. This one really stood out for me. So Batman's about to fight Doomsday, right? And he realizes, oh, this thing made from human and Kryptonian DNA can only be killed by Kryptonian weaponry. So, rather than make a U-turn to grab this kryptonite spear he made, which I was like, why did you make a spear, rather than, you know, something a little more practical, other than you trying to be St. George and the Dragon. Anyway, so, rather than do the smart thing to make a U-turn to get the spear, then go back, he does this. I need to, you know, lure the creature to Gotham. You know, that city I always love and protect. I need to go back and draw the creature there, so during the fight I can somehow scramble to find that spear and find a way to stab the creature. That's a foolproof plan. I like this plan. Yeah, Doomsday, by the way, he was just there to have Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman, you know, team up and fight, you know, and, you know, fight together. And you could argue, but that's what the Chitauri were in Avengers. And to an extent, yes, they were. That's for something the Avengers to gather up and fight against. But it wasn't, you know, this random meeting between all of them. They knew. They knew each other. They had character development between each other in Avengers. In this, it's just like Wonder Woman's here and it's like, oh, hey Wonder Woman, let's fight. Also, Superman versus Batman, it should have been just called Dawn of Justice because there's only one Superman-Batman fight, and it's, I think it was about 4 minutes long. No, 3 minutes long. Even shorter than that, probably. One fight. One fight that they, you know, it happens real quick. It's almost like blink and you miss it. And the only reason they stop and become buddy-buddy is because, like I said, Luthor has, you know, Martha. He has, you know, he has Superman's mom, which, I don't know how he figured out, you know, Clark Kent and Superman are one and the same, but what happens is that, you know, rather than say, mother, or something like that, because that's the logical thing when you think of your mother, you don't call her by her maiden name when you're dying. He's like, Martha, and Batman's like, how do you know that name? How do you know that name? Oh, it's your mom's name. That was my mom's name, too. Buddy, buddy. Yeah. Sorry, I need something to drink. But yeah, that's the thing, is that the fight just, you know, it just kind of ends right there, and suddenly this alien that he swore that he was going to kill, and suddenly when he finds out, oh, we have the same, you know, our moms share the same name, that's totally cool. I'll help you. And yeah, there are some good scenes, like the opening scene where Bruce Wayne is driving through all the chaos in Metropolis while the Superman Zod fight is going down. And it's a well shot scene, really. The whole action sequence is very well shot. Even the Superman Batman fight, as short as it was, it's actually handled pretty well. There's a moment I actually like where after Bruce hits Superman with like kryptonite dust and they put him on equal level, Batman's pounding the shit out of Superman, and then suddenly the dust wears off and Superman is like hitting him and nothing's happening, and Clark gives him this look of, you done fucked up, son, and proceeds to beat the shit out of him for a bit. So again, there are some things I like, but they were few and far between because, like I said, it suffers the same way Iron Man 2 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 suffered from. Too many things going on at once while trying to tell a cohesive story, which it failed in and of that because it was trying to juggle between a Superman and Batman story, and it felt like Snyder couldn't pick and choose. Even then. But yeah. I feel like also that the scene where we discover Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman, you know, you get those little mini films of them. I felt like that should have been like an after credit scene because it just comes in at the middle of the out of nowhere. It just comes out of nowhere, and I feel like that could have been a cool little Easter egg towards the end of the film. Yeah. So let's get on to another major thing that happens. Batman kills people. You know, here's one of the two major things. Batman kills people, which, yeah, that's a thing. And you could argue, well, Batman killed people in Dark Knight Returns. Not really, they were rubber bullets. Those were rubber bullets, and even Frank Miller knew, yeah, I'm not going to kill anybody. Even when, as batshit as he got with the sequels, in the first story, he at least knew, yeah, Batman don't kill. And I can understand this is an older Batman. This is a more tired and haggard Batman, and clearly a more unstable Batman. But even then, you gotta think to yourself, you gotta just say, dude, Batman don't kill. And I hate to sound like the DC fanboy, but yeah, that's kind of like one of the golden rules. Batman don't kill, and you could argue, but he snapped Joker's neck in Dark Knight Returns. Well, true, but he didn't kill him. He permanently paralyzed him. He left him alive. Joker just snapped his neck on his own to finish the job, and prove Batman, and frame Batman for killing someone, inevitably leading to the Superman-Batman fight in that story. But still, he didn't kill anybody. He technically didn't really kill anybody. Yeah, he did use real bullets in the comic itself, but he always used them to wound. The rubber bullets were to hit people. Yeah. So I felt like there are some sheer moments where he's like, well, that guy's dead, that guy's dead, that guy's dead. And Batman doesn't seem to be fazed by it. I just feel like Zack Snyder was like, yeah, my Batman's gonna be like Punisher, but with a cape. Yeah. Also, Jimmy Olsen's in this movie, real quick, but then he gets capped in the beginning of this film, and the sole reason why, you want to know why Zack Snyder wanted Jimmy Olsen to be a CIA agent who gets killed? For the Superman's best friend, one of his closest allies and trusted, friends, he just thought it'd be fun. He just thought it would be a fun thing to do for Jimmy Olsen. And you could argue, well, Jimmy Olsen's just Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, but it's Superman's pal. One of the first people he trusted, the Superwatch, all that, and it would have been a cool thing. I'd have been actually okay with Jimmy Olsen being a CIA agent. But have him just killed off for shits and giggles? That doesn't fly with me. Yeah. So, also, getting back, getting on to the other thing real quick. Superman's death. Let's talk about that. Superman's death just comes out of nowhere, and I feel like, oh, we're just going to kill off Superman and have him come back in Justice League. So, because, no need for a Superman movie, right? We can just bring him back in Justice League and think about something else to do with him. Yeah. So we have that going, Superman's death. I felt nothing. I felt nothing when Doomsday kills Superman and they both die together. And also the action sequence between Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday, it's just there to cause carnage. And if you didn't like the Superman-Zod fight in the last movie, you're not going, the damage that caused between Superman and Zod's fight in that movie, you're not going to like the amount of damage in here, because that is cranked up to 11. But yeah. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Look, I don't hate this movie. I don't like this movie, but I've seen some worse superhero movies. This isn't even on the top 10 worst superhero movies in my opinion. But I will admit, I felt let down. I felt because, 3 years we all waited for this film. We got so much promotion. We got Ben Affleck as Batman. We got all of this. It was supposed to be the kickoff of the Justice League. And again, it falls short on so many levels. Not because it was just trying to handle too much, too little, it was just trying to handle way too much. But even the story itself between just Superman and Batman didn't know what it wanted to be. And that's where it really, character's good, and there are some nice little character moments. Don't get me wrong, there are some good character moments. But it doesn't know if it wants to be a superhero man movie. It doesn't know if it wants to be a Batman movie. It doesn't know if it wants to be a Justice League movie. And even in those aspects, it falls in on itself. And that's what really kills me about it. This is a movie I was looking forward to. And for 3 years I looked forward to it, and I defended everything about it, and I was just like, man, this is what I get? Alright. But I am hopeful for the other DC films. I'm very hopeful for, Suicide Squad. I'm hopeful for Wonder Woman. I'm hopeful for so many other DC films. But yeah, I kind of feel like they jumped the gun, and that's kind of unfortunate, really. So, yeah, I don't, again, there are some things I like about this film, and if you like this film, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. More power to you for liking this film. I like Man of Steel, even though it's not, I will admit, it's not a great Superman movie, but I still like it. There are things in there I like. But this one really had some major flaws that I couldn't be like, man, this kind of took on a little too much water there, Captain. But yeah, so there you go. But you guys tell me, what did you all think of the Superman-Batman movie? What did you think of Dawn of Justice? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.